to Cut Daisies and Unicorns, and here it is. We're at a Trailer Friday. We've landed on Friday. We've put up a tent here on Fridays. We've making a trailer, with the tent. I don't know where.
Oh man, yeah. Trailer Friday,
episode number 5, mid-season.
It is mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Good job out of us.
Yeah, it just flies by, much like life.
And we talk about that a little bit in the episode. So we're giving you a little heads up how to navigate the obstacles that you face in life.
Yeah.
Navigating changes through seasons, but really, what are some helpful ways to navigating obstacles?
Mm-hmm.
And so that is our topic coming up on Sunday.
Right.
In my head, we left off with reactive living, proactive living.
Yeah.
And my head just works in weird ways. And so, I was thinking, well, because I'm a river dude. So, I'm navigating life feeling like I'm on a float just down the river.
Like the lazy river, where you're kind of on a raft and it kind of just, it takes you where it wants to go.
And a lot of people that would think about a lazy river see it in the context of chlorine water.
Oh.
And so I would say no.
Okay.
Mine is more rural than that.
Okay. No chlorine.
No chlorine.
No smell of pee.
Have you really been at a pool?
Yeah.
That smelled like pee?
Oh yeah. I mean, and much of it especially with the elevated smell of chlorine, you can always tell that the elevated level of chlorine is probably because of the urine that's there. Yeah. So there was one guy who actually he did this test where he said, here's some water that I have chlorinated in the same, in the same level, no urine. And then he did this test and he said, and here's the water that's been chlorinated, same level, urinated in, and it actually smells like 90% apparently of all the pools that you've ever been to. And that's where it's so chlorine doesn't always add to that level of you know what it is when you come into a pool that's chlorinated and you're like, yeah, you can smell it. And he's saying it's actually because it's been peed in.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was his both hypothesis and what he tested. Now, I mean, but he had a very small sample size, so
okay,
you'd have to probably increase that to other levels to find out if it's all true. But that was what he walked away from.
Yeah. So going back to the river, no chlorine, no. Yeah, just I don't know. I just look at life as the whole of life is the water flowing through. There's things that surround you. I canoed as a child down rivers in Michigan, and first time I ever had cellulitis happened when I was canoeing in Arkansas.
Oh.
And broke a toe. There was a crack in my foot, and I picked up some bacterial and had a subdermatitis bacterial infection.
Yikes.
Oh, it's not fun.
Yeah.
It is not fun. I was sick.
That sounds like no fun.
No fun at all. So, we go from urine to cellulitis. Great conversation, Phil.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking is proactive, reactive, and I was like, man, if I have the river approach, when's the last time I was proactive about something? And I was like, man, I haven't been proactive about for a long. And then I backed up the train, and I'm like, no, I've been proactive. There are plenty of things that I'm proactive about. So that's what I'm saying about you gotta sometimes. The circus between your ears isn't necessarily a good one.
It's true. Yeah, because the 3-ring circus in your head. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes there is no ringleader. The lions, the tigers are loose.
The bears.
Oh
Oh my. No, not oh my. Cocaine.
Bringing it all back around.
Yeah,
we
so
bring up the cocaine bear again.
yeah, we do. We talk about that. And our good friend Laura, her name is the name that is most dropped through the entire episode.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
right. We talk about Laura.
yep.
Laura knows which Laura we're referring to as well.
Yeah. And if you want to send the podcast to your favorite Lauras and see if they're the Lauras we're speaking of, you will be able to confirm and not deny that.
It's true. Wow, yeah. So there was, so we spent a good chunk up front just talking about some current events,
Pop culture.
pop culture. We get into some AI talk with ChatGPT.
And for the kids who don't know what that's about, and by kids I mean people who aren't kids, artificial intelligence
Right.
and authentic intelligence. And we also talk about emotional intelligence. We didn't call it that
We didn't. but
during
you're
the
right.
episode, but we were calling it out.
Yeah.
Hashtag adulting. If you wonder, am I adulting? Well, not every situation calls for it. but if you're dealing with obstacles in your life, it's probably the next place to move.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like there was, I think there was some good revelations, through the conversation that we
Yeah.
had. So, yeah, about ways in which to navigate. And there's probably like a million other, avenues that you could go down with that. But I think,
At least.
right. But I think we led it in a good direction.
I
So,
believe so. It may be one of the most directional conversations we've had in our Infinity series.
Right. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But, most people, if they stop at episode 1 and don't get to 5, they won't know because we're so non-directional in the Infinity series.
Right. And that's what it is with infinity. Like you can go. There's an infinite number of possibilities.
I'm pretty sure we're very non-binary
Yeah.
in our Infinity.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Right. So, infinity reasons, infinity paths, infinity pools.
It is an infinity pool. Yeah. Yeah. So we hope that on your Friday that you've made it through a good week. Hopefully you're not pulling hairs out. Or if you are, just be careful.
Because there may not be ones coming back after it.
Never know.
Yes. The exciting parts about growing old. I was just listening to a guy, he's a doctor, and he says that there are tests that they are currently doing with growing hair again. And especially, because people are like, we're talking about genetics, right? So genetics says you're eventually, if you're somebody who has a gene where you're balding, like there's hardly any way to stop it other than, doing hair plugs or toupees or whatever.
So if you plug a hair into a socket, an outlet, does it smell like burnt hair?
Maybe.
I don't know. Hair plugs. I
But
haven't heard that for-
they are working on a serum right now that actually is going to, if you've got a hair follicle, so it's a place where hair naturally would grow.
Oh, the follicle
or could
is
grow
the
or
follicle
has grown.
is the hole.
Yeah.
The hole
Yeah.
for
So
hair.
where your hair is currently coming out,
Yeah.
if you have, like my hair used to probably be further down on my forehead.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like you put this serum there in it, and they're saying that it actually is a lot of this natural. It'll go down and recreate that again, and it'll actually bring back natural hair color, not like current. So it'll go back to your natural hair color. So
Really?
I don't know. Apparently, it's coming in the next couple of years that these new medical advancements.
So if I shaved my beard and applied it to my face,
Yeah,
my beard would come back in its natural color instead of being
gray.
gray.
Yeah. Like currently both of ours is.
Well, but my beard, for people who are listening, you're not going to be able to see this, but my beard is deceptive.
Yeah.
Watch this, Phil. Oh, you know what? I don't hardly ever.
Oh, yeah. You can zoom in on you.
I'll do it like this, so you get a close up.
Right.
So I'll get over here, but like if I do this,
Yeah. It's dark underneath.
look at that.
So it's like the stuff that doesn't hit the sun as much. It's like the growth underneath,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look like a little panda bear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Panda Steve.
Panda Steve.
Panda Steve.
Oh my gosh. That's kind of
We'll
weird.
see. We'll see if that catches on. Panda Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know about these medical advancements, but I'm like, why it would go back to your original hair? Like, I mean, that's something.
Yeah. I do recall one of our conversations in season 8. We basically boiled it down to, I don't like my state of decay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, I think when you're looking at those, I mean, yes, it is a medical advancement, but it's not a reconstruction. It's more of a, restoration.
See, I like these words.
Yeah.
You like our words.
I
though.
do.
Yeah.
I do.
Our brought to you by the letter R.
Right. The re-words are always fun, because it's kind of a restore, like
Yeah.
you're going back to instead of like, and that's, you can still be comfortable about your aging. Like I'm not going to ever get plastic surgery on my face unless it's been like, car accidents or whatever.
Oh gosh.
Right?
Oh, why bring
Sorry,
that up?
yeah.
Oh my word.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to go in because, like, I have laugh lines or I have crow's lines or whatever on my
Crow's
eyes,
feet.
right? Crow's feet, yeah. Right, so I'm not going to fix those. Like, I'm gonna get wrinkly, more than I am right now. Thanks, Edgar,
yeah.
bringing it in.
Yeah.
But like some of the other things, like, hey, like, can you bring in? I mean, if I'm trying to bring back a natural haircut, I don't know. I can't even say I would even do that yet. But like, cause I'm fine with gray.
Like, back in the 80s, like when Rogaine was
Right.
brought to the market,
Mm-hmm.
and then people were putting that on their head to grow their hair and stuff, but then they were like application in the shower, and then it would like go down their backs, and then they had hair growing in their backs, and I'm like, hey, I'm a woolly mammoth.
Right.
I
I already
mean,
got hair on my back. So.
I lose more hair in a day than like you can track my DNA all around the house because I just I'm worse than a dog. Woof.
It's true.
Yeah.
That does happen.
You're like, there's people listening to this like, I didn't need that word picture in my head. Yep.
Right. We are naturally hairy people, and so that means if you're naturally hairy people, you're gonna naturally shed.
Yeah. Yep.
It just happens.
It's real life. It's real body.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so, and I mean, I would love to not be a hairy guy because I would be all tatted up. But I will say that has saved the pocketbook
true.
on my expense sheet because, if hair is going to cover it up, then why go
Right,
through
because then you have to shave it in order to get
the
the
tattoo?
tattoo in the first place. So
Yeah.
you're like,
And then as your skin heals, Then you deal with ingrown hairs as the hair is growing back, and then it's just a patchy mess.
It's all the things that they don't tell you.
You know, the cost for beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with tattoos, it's much more than it's skin deep, right? It's further than the skin. It goes down to the epidermis and the, I don't even know which layers there are. I know there's a bunch.
This episode brought to you by Science Phil.
Science, Phil. Science is fun.
I just like it when you can put vinegar together with baking soda and just make a mountain melt.
Mm-hmm.
Volcano.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lots of people have, throughout history, gone to the science fair with a volcano, and they've done that science on it.
Hey, so Phil, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap this up. But do you have any plans with the change of weather and coming into spring? Do you have any plans to change up your exercise routine?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you ask, because I've been for the the last 2 weeks. I've been because of schedule. Like, I haven't even gone to the gym. I've just been using the bike here.
Oh, okay.
And that's so. So it's been a little bit of a switch right now.
Uh-huh.
Then I stare out my window, right, and I look at all of the people who are moving around in the morning and getting kids off to school, and I'm like, yeah, I don't have to do that right now.
Yeah, different season, right?
Different season.
Yeah.
But as far like I do like to have some change in scenery. So I mean, spring hits and it's easier to get out and walk versus a winter. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'll still probably end up doing my 12-hour thing that we talked about in the late fall.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to do that in the spring.
You got that on your agenda.
Got it on my agenda.
You're being proactive.
Right.
Wow.
I'm thinking about it now.
Yes.
Versus, and when can that happen and when will it happen is not nailed down, but I do want to hit it in the spring.
Nice.
So
cool.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome, dude.
So there are some things I'm switching up there.
All right.
Yeah.
I got a new pair of tennis shoes, and I know what I need to do is I need to get out and walk. I need to.
You gonna try 12 hours?
No, that's not on my agenda.
You want to read the book?
I don't. But coming back from the Dominican Republic and being active, I just know I need to. But I mean, that's the cool thing too about being back in the studio, and that there'll be more motion going on as well. So plenty of projects, but I need to get do you go for distance or do you go for time?
Most of my exercise routines for the last couple of years have always been around time.
Okay.
So I'm usually within an hour to an hour and a half time frame.
Yeah.
So that's usually what I give myself in that area. So I mix it up between, and even though they're like cardio doesn't do anything, but like cardio still helps I think gives my heart some, of that breathing expansion.
Yeah.
And then now what I've switched it into is then also working with weights. So do cardio and weights, and then figure out the dynamic there about what I should be working on.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Interesting.
So that's kind of the natural flow now. I think that's probably out of COVID when the gym opened back up. I was like, all right, time, it's kind of new. We'll switch it back up again. I was doing like an hour to an hour 15 of just cardio. And I'm like, and it's fine. I mean, it definitely burns some calories, but you also find that even in that hour 15, I was burning, 800 to 900 calories. But that goes away pretty quick when you consider like a single meal sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
That, can wipe out that pretty quick. So,
Yeah.
so that's kind of where I've been balancing and trying to figure out where, like cardio is still good for me, even though they're like, it's not always helpful for weight loss. I mean, but because diet's going to be more geared towards that. So I've been trying to balance things out and say, where am I looking for some strength too? So,
Yeah. Well, and I just asked the question to put it out there that maybe you're coming out of the winter season as a listener, and we'd just like to encourage you. Although I am a committed couch potato, I just see I can see the part. There's two things. We brought it up in episode 4. So the good thing about me having a dog is the dog had to get walked. And that, when you're walking 2 to 3 times a day for 20 minutes, I mean, that motion and movement, that's good between the ears.
yeah.
Yeah. And so, and yesterday I almost went on a walk.
Oh.
That's the story of my life about what I almost did. And so, but yeah, that whole artificial intelligence, like I should listen to more podcasts and I should just go out and walk. But to your point, I think if I did it for an hour, I told you that story about my doctor, when I was getting the blood pressure, and I'm like, oh, so I should walk for 20 minutes. He goes, oh no, dude, you can walk as much as walking as you can. And he's like, that will not hurt you at all.
Right.
So, all right, here we are again.
Here we are. We've landed.
Gonna loop that corner.
You can walk as much as you want to.
Turn left. Turn left. I'll go NASCAR on my tennis shoes. Just keep turning left.
Right. All right. So hopefully you enjoy the full episode on Sunday. There's lots of questions, things to consider. So if you have things to add, feel free to reach out to us and about navigating obstacles. And we'd love to hear from you as well.
Yeah. It's true.
It's true.
that part today, it's true. We'd love to hear from you.
Right.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.